Hi, Joe Cerrone. Welcome to CAD-230 and our weekly Zoom meeting. I have released the Solidworks practice exam, and the Solidworks practice exam is located in the quiz area of D2L. And I'll show you that in a minute. Next week will be the midterm, and the midterm is worth 20%. So you want to take it serious. It's not a super easy exam. It'll be very similar. I'll have some of these problems, and then I'll have a couple of them that are, kind of rigorous. And so you'll have 3 hours to complete that exam, and I'll put that exam on for 24 hours or like 23, something like that. And so the exam will be available next week on the 19th from, I believe, from 12 a.m. until 11:30 p.m. And let me know if you have any difficulty. I'll be around on Monday evening, but I don't work for HonorLock, so I don't know if that'll be the case. You will probably need a credit card to pay the fee for it. And it's just the tone that our administration is setting, with being able to verify that people are who they say they are when they take the exam. When we did things in person, the teacher would just watch, or we'd send you to the testing center. So this is a new policy, and they do charge for this. The cost for the exam is $11 for unlimited, I believe, and $6 per exam. Since we'll be using this for the final exam also, I recommend you go with the unlimited and pay the $11. With that said, let's backtrack a little bit to where the practice exam is. And this is a practice exam that's light. I didn't want to put in a big exam, practice exam into the HonorLock testing. So if you go to the quizzes and exams area and you click on the HonorLock practice test, and mine's going to look a little bit different. I had one of the students take a look at it and see if it worked, and it appeared to be working. So we'll test it out in the next couple of days, and if there are any issues, we'll fix it. But from a standpoint of what it looks like, it's going to be questions. I just pulled some questions from the end of the chapter for this HonorLock practice test. It will not be graded. You could just go true, false if you like, or you can actually go through and do it. You can take this an unlimited number of time, and yes, you will see questions like this on the midterm. So it makes sense to go through and take that exam. I've also added 2 questions at the end of this for the actual drawing component. And so what you'll do is you'll open up this question, and then you'll use SolidWorks to create this model. And then what you'll do is you'll calculate the volume of the model. And so it says build this model, calculate the volume of the part. You'll want to set this up with the origin right here. And you'll want to set the material as 2014 alloy. And that's going to have this density. And so once you create this part and you model it, then what you will do is you will give the answer in the comment area. And so you can just say the volume of this part is, and then give that value. And that's that one. And then there's one more hands-on drawing. Like I said, I didn't make this difficult for the HonorLock because you kind of want to get in and out of this part just to make sure you know how to use HonorLock. And so here's another one of these problems. Shows you where the origin is, and it's similar to the other one. This one, the units are in millimeters, so make sure you set your units to millimeters when you do this, or you'll wind up having some problems with it. Okay, with that said, that's the HonorLock practice exam, and you need to take that before the test to make sure that it works. And if you don't take it, there's not much I can do about it, but the midterm will require HonorLock. So back to the main splash page. I put a second practice exam in the actual content section so that once you get the HonorLock set up and working, you can just go to content, and you can go to midterm Practice Exam 2020. And so, here's some pictures. And then here's the exam. If I click on this, and actually I've already opened it here. Let's take a look at it. It's going to look like this. And so place the models in the Dropbox and assign the correct material. So there is a midterm practice Dropbox that you can put the files in there, and you can always ask questions. Hey, this one didn't work, or can you tell me if this is the correct values? And study the end of chapter questions from chapter 1 through chapter 7. We will not be doing part configurations as in module 6. So module 6 is not on the midterm exam. If I take a look at this, the midterm exam, practice exam, is taken from an older version of the CSWA exam preparation book. And so it's in the content section, and they tell you exactly how to do these problems. And so create a new part in SolidWorks, build the illustrated model. And what they do is they give you A and B here, and then they, as an exam instructor, I can change these values and give you a similar problem. So what you want to do is to draw these, and you want to go through and you want to practice making these parts and then calculating out the values for the mass. And so if I look at the ones that I've done, so for example, here's one right here. If you right click on the material here, you can set up that material. I've got this one set up as brass. And then if I were to change that, I think I can change it to one of these other materials. So this one is set up for brass. Once you have that, you can go to the mass properties. I need to finish editing my sketch apparently. And so you can go to mass properties, and here's my mass. Some of them are in the CSWA exam manual will ask you for the center of mass. And so that's what this little thing is right here. I'm not going to do that on the midterm, but you may see that down the road when you take the CSWA exam. With that said, switching back over to the PDF here. So there's a secondary problem. Here's a third problem. Here's a fourth problem. And you really just want to be able to kind of get comfortable with being able to create these. And these problems, the beginning ones, I don't find they're too difficult. I think that you'll feel that they're relatively straightforward. And if you do have some problems, just send me an email and I can help you work with those. So that's the midterm practice drawing problems. It's different than the midterm honor lock practice. This one doesn't require honor lock. This is just for those students who like to be busy and like to be prepared for the exam. It's not going to count towards your grade. It's a midterm practice so that you can be ready for it. Do you have to take it? You have to take the midterm honor lock practice, but this one here is not going to be graded. Okay, and then here's the CSWA practice problems. This is where I got those from. And so if I download this and show you what we're working with, it's this official certification manual, and it's older, and I like to use the older ones. If you read through the textbook does have some current CSWA exam problems, which we'll approach as we get closer to the end of this class. Okay, and so you can kind of see how the author sets these up. And it's really quite good that we can practice for these exams. All right, back to the main splash page, back to that. Okay. So that's our practice exam. Module 5 is due today at 11:30 p.m. If we take a look at the drawing problems, you're to complete these 4 SolidWorks drawings. They can be a little tricky if you have some difficulty with them. You can make a comment in the Dropbox. You can ask for an extension, but you need to ask if you need extra time for these. Otherwise, you'll be assessed a late fee. And it's typically 10%, 3 points. Okay, so that's basically our video recap meeting. Make sure that you go to quizzes and exams and you locate the honor lock practice test and you take that. You'll need a credit card. You'll need to pay the fee to be able to do that exam as many times as you want. With that, I'm going to end this Zoom recap or this Zoom video meeting, and I'll open things up for questions.